Alright, what's up guys, it's FlyHyper here with another video, and today's video is going to be the top 5 monster buffs from the latest monster balancing patch, which is the patch 3.7.2. So there was a decent amount of buffs and nerfs to monsters in this update, so basically I'll be going over the best buffs from that update. So I'll start with the honorable mention, and then I'll go into 5th place, 4th place, 3rd place, 2nd, and then finally 1st place. One more thing before I get into this video is I just want to say that this is my opinion, and of course everyone's opinion is going to be different about this topic, but this is just my personal opinion, and it's nothing set in stone or anything like that. It's just my opinion. So with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the list, guys. Alright, so the honorable mention is going to go to the Dark Brownie Magician, or Corona. So basically Corona just got a pretty nice buff to his 3rd skill. So it used to just remove harmful effects on the enemies, but replace the harmful effects with a sleep for that amount of turns. So for example, if he removed 2 dots and a defense break off the enemy, then that particular enemy would be put to sleep for 3 turns. So that's what he used to do. He just removed the enemy's harmful effects and replaced them with sleep. Now he removes the enemy's harmful effects and the enemy's buffs with a 50% chance, and still each enemy will be put to sleep for the amount of effects removed. So that includes the harmful effects as well as the beneficial effects he will take away. That's how many turns of sleep you can put that guy in. So if you think about it, it's really pretty good because you can put an enemy to sleep easily for 4+ turns even. So if you think about it, that's pretty good, and it is AoE. So again, pretty good. So that's why Corona gets an honorable mention. Alright, so coming in at 5th place is going to be Morris, or the Wind Dice Magician. He again got a pretty nice buff to his passive. So what Morris basically used to do is at the beginning of each turn, his passive would roll 2 dice, and if the number of dice was the same, then it would revive 1 ally. So that's what it used to be. Now it's basically the same exact thing, except now instead of reviving 1 dead ally, it actually revives all dead allies. So if you get lucky, it can revive all dead allies, which is of course very, very good. And if you get, let's say, double 6s, it can revive all your allies with a lot of HP. So depending on how RNG treats you, Morris could be very, very good. So you just have to get lucky. You're just going to have to hope. So that's why Morris's buff is coming in at 5th place. Coming in at 4th place is going to be Amin, the Light Bear Man. A lot of early to mid game players or whatever used to use Amin a lot, and I think they still do. He's just a very consistent healer. He just got a pretty good buff to make him even better, so all beginners really should pick up an Amin. I think he's a very, very, very consistent and good healer. Basically what Amin used to do is if he crit an enemy, his passive would heal the whole team by 12% of his max HP. Now the only difference is it went from 12% to 20%, which if you think about it is crazy. It heals 20% of his max HP to all allies and himself every single time he goes, and that's why Amin is coming in at 4th place. 3rd place is going to go to Dova, the Light Harg. There's a lot of videos going around YouTube right now of the Dova and Lucian combo. It's a very, very good combo. It's basically like Kona Lucian, except Dova has way more base speed, so you can build Dova way faster. Basically what he used to do is at the start of the fight, the attack speed of the ally with the lowest attack speed will be increased according to your level. So that is what it used to do. Nothing really all that special. But now they really changed it up, and it's really, really good. Now at the beginning of the fight, the enemy with the lowest HP will be granted either attack, recovery, or endure effects according to their HP status. So for Lucian, it puts an attack buff on him. Dova's 2nd skill fills up an ally's attack bar to the max and gives them a speed buff for 2 turns. So you see how it's so good with Lucian, because it'll attack buff Lucian, and if your Dova's the fastest one in the battle, it'll go first and it can boost Lucian to full attack bar, and you can kill the whole other team if your Lucian hits hard enough. You can just see how that's really, really good. It's like Kona, like I said, but way better base attack speed. So it's just a very, very good buff. He's way more useful now than he was. He's actually very, very useful now. And that is why Dova is coming in at 3rd place. Coming in at 2nd place is going to be Chandra, the Water Beast Monk. Now this also goes for the Dark Beast Monk, Rahul, but the only thing is way more people have Chandra because he's not LD Nat 5, just regular Nat 5. So I'm going to put Chandra on the list. But anyways, basically Chandra's 2nd skill has got a nice buff. But basically what Chandra used to do is it would put a buff on any ally you choose. And this buff would make it so anytime an enemy attacks that monster, damage would not be dealt to the monster with the buff, but instead 50% of that damage would be dealt to Chandra. So that's how it used to work. Now Chandra's 2nd skill does the same thing, where Chandra will take half the damage and the monster with the buff will not take any damage. But now Chandra not only will take some of the damage, but he'll then counterattack with a 100% chance. And also right after Chandra uses the skill, he gains another turn. So that's why it's a pretty good buff, because he counterattacks, and if you have kind of a bruiser Chandra, it's going to hurt the enemy to keep attacking the guy that has the buff, because first of all, he's only doing half the damage. Second of all, your Chandra's going to be counterattacking him. And Chandra's first skill does have a chance to stun, so he might counterattack and stun, so they're not going to be wanting to attack the guy that has that buff. So that's why Chandra is really a lot better now, because it's really scaring more people away from attacking people with that buff. So that is why Chandra's coming in at second place. So coming in at first place is going to be Halfast the Light Lich. Now Halfast used to be pretty bad, people never really considered him too good, but now you'll see videos all over YouTube recently about Halfast, basically showcasing him and saying he's actually pretty good now. He got a buff to his second skill as well as to his passive. The second skill buff, which isn't as special as the passive buff, basically the attack bar absorption rate went from 15% to 25%. So yeah, that is good, but the passive is what's really good about him now. So what Halfast's passive used to do is whenever he would get to 50% HP or a hit that would take him beneath 50% HP, he would get invincibility for a turn, and that's basically it. Now he does the same thing, but now he drains life from the enemy that attacks him, and basically he deals 10% of his max HP back to the enemy when they attack him when he has the invincibility. And of course he won't lose any HP because he has the invincibility. So the reason he's so good now is because people will build him on Vampire, and then he'll go beneath 50% HP, he'll get invincibility, and then using Vampire they'll get his HP back above 50%. So then when they hit him again, he'll get invincibility again, and it's kind of like invincibility, like constant invincibility, depending if he's getting above 50% and if they're healing him or whatever. But there's no cooldown, so really he can get invincibility every single time he goes from above 50% to beneath 50%. So you can see how the Light Lich got such a big buff. So that's why Halfast's buff is coming in at number 1. So anyways guys, that is basically going to wrap up this video. If you have a different opinion on this list, go ahead and leave in the comments. I'm interested who you guys think is the best buffs, and also you can say who you think is the worst buffs or whatever. You can just say anything related to the buffs or whatever you want, but I just want to kind of hear what you guys have to say about that. I'm on summonerswarwikia.com if you are wondering where these patch notes are. Anyways guys, if you have any other questions, comments, and concerns, feel free to leave those in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.